Let me take you back to a time when I first realized how our minds can be tricked by repetition. A few years ago, my cousin Mark was convinced that a certain miracle health supplement was the answer to all his problems. He'd seen it featured in multiple online posts, on TV commercials, and even heard it recommended by a well known influencer. The more he saw and heard about it, the more convinced he became. Even though his doctor warned him there was little scientific backing behind the claims. Mark's unwavering belief wasn't just about the product's merits, it was about the power of hearing something repeatedly until it feels like the truth. This phenomenon is known as the illusory truth effect, a cognitive bias where repeated statements, regardless of their veracity, are more likely to be perceived as true. The illusory truth effect is a fascinating aspect of human psychology. Essentially, it refers to our tendency to accept repeated information as true, even when it might be false or misleading. This bias plays a crucial role in shaping our beliefs, attitudes, and decisions, often without us even realizing it. When we encounter the same statement over and over again, our brains start to associate familiarity with accuracy. It's an evolutionary shortcut. If something is familiar, it must be safe, right? Let's break down the mechanics of this phenomenon. Familiarity breeds belief. Every time you hear or read the same piece of information, it becomes more familiar. That sense of familiarity tricks your brain into thinking the information is reliable, regardless of its factual basis. Cognitive ease. Repeated statements are easier for your brain to process. This ease of processing, known as cognitive fluency, makes you more inclined to accept the information as true because it requires less mental effort to digest. Emotional reinforcement. Often the repeated message is accompanied by strong emotional cues, images, music, or persuasive language that further reinforce the message and make it even more memorable. Social validation. When multiple sources, including friends, family, or media outlets, repeat the same information, it creates a social proof effect. You start to believe it because it seems like everyone else does too. Consider everyday examples. In advertising, you might see a product featured repeatedly with catchy slogans. Over time, even if you never tried the product, you begin to believe it's the best on the market. In politics, a candidate's message might be repeated across various media channels until it becomes ingrained in public opinion, even if the message is only partially true. And, as in Mark's case, repeated claims about health remedies can lead people to invest in products with little to no scientific support. The illusory truth effect isn't just about deception. It's about how our brains are wired to favor information that is familiar. This bias can be beneficial in some contexts, helping us make quick decisions, but it can also be a double-edged sword when it comes to misinformation. Imagine growing up in an environment where certain myths or falsehoods are repeated so often that you eventually internalize them as facts. This isn't far from the truth in many cultures and communities. Over time, these repeated narratives shape your worldview and can influence everything from your personal choices to your political beliefs. For instance, think about how conspiracy theories gain traction. Constant repetition makes them appear more credible to the average person, even in the absence of solid evidence. This cognitive bias doesn't only affect individuals, it has significant societal implications. In a world where information is constantly being shared and reshared, the illusory truth effect can amplify misinformation, making it challenging to discern fact from fiction. It's a powerful reminder of the importance of critical thinking and verifying information before accepting it as truth. But all is not lost. Recognizing this bias is the first step in protecting yourself from its influence. Here are some practical strategies to counteract the illusory truth effect. Question repetition. Just because you've heard something multiple times doesn't mean it's true. Always ask for evidence and sources, especially for claims that seem too good or too alarming to be true. Engage in critical thinking. Challenge your own beliefs by seeking out alternative viewpoints and verifying information through reputable sources. The more you expose yourself to diverse perspectives, the less likely you are to fall prey to repeated misinformation. Pause and reflect. When encountering repeated information, take a moment to consider whether you're accepting it solely because it's familiar. Sometimes, a little pause can help you assess the validity of what you're hearing. Educate yourself. Learn about cognitive biases and how they influence your thinking. Awareness is a powerful tool in combating manipulation and making more informed decisions. Have you ever found yourself believing something simply because you heard it over and over again? Reflect on those moments, whether it's a product, a political slogan, or a piece of news. Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might help someone else realize the importance of critical thinking in today's information-rich world. If this exploration of the illusory truth effect resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the intriguing world of dark psychology. Remember, knowledge is your best defense against manipulation. Question the familiar, challenge the repeated, and embrace your power to think critically. Thank you for watching and stay informed.